All right. Well, we are live back here on YouTube. Hopefully, you
What is
guys
going on?
hopefully you guys can hear us. I am welcome back with our good friend and colleague Dan Parker. He's going to be joining us on the live tonight. Courtney again has baseball this week, so I am taking the reins once again, and Dan will fill in nicely for us here. So we're going to kind of do our usual program here on the show. So we're going to go through some San Diego related items, talk about the housing market here in San Diego, what's going on as far as home prices, which is everyone wants to talk about these days. Because with rising interest rates, everyone's like, is it going to crash? Is it going to tumble? Our price is going to go up, going to go down, stay flat. So we're going to get in all to that now and see where it's going. And Dan and I are both active real estate agents here in San Diego. Dan has his own YouTube channel. If you guys do not follow Dan, you should check his channel out at Best Life San Diego. Is that correct, Dan?
It sounds right. Dan Parker, sure. Best Life San Diego.
Google his name, Dan Parker, and it'll come up. So It's easy to find. All right, so I'm going to get into a few things. And if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll get to them in a few minutes, but we're going to go through a few things that are going on here in San Diego once I clear out my desktop here, which is a mess. So
I'm happy to be here, Bern. And, we always talk about how the market is changing, but I think right now it's changing probably more than at any point that we've had these YouTube channels. So I'm excited to chat with you about this and see what you're experiencing.
For sure. Did my screen just go dark, Dan?
It's dark. That's why I'm trying to fill in the void here, Bern. I got your back.
I don't know what just happened, but give me a moment here to...
We lost Bern.
You keep talking, Dan.
Get the IT department on it. So, I mean, do you want to talk about like what we're experiencing ourselves, or
what has your experience been over the last couple of weeks, Dan? Are you seeing less buyers out there, more buyers, the same? Are people putting offers in? What's going on?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that we both do a fair amount of business, and we help a good amount of people here in San Diego. So we have a fairly good sample size of what's happening, but still it's small for the entire San Diego market. So I don't want to push too much on just my anecdotal experiences, but I can tell you what, for example, I had a client send me today 5 properties that he wanted to see. Every single one of them was actually at 21 days on the market, which was pretty wild. Interesting that they were all exactly 21 days on the market. But
when was the last time you saw 21 days on the market, multiple properties in the same area?
And properties that I'm looking online, and we've gotten to the point where we can pretty quickly see if there's a red flag. If there's a major red flag, we can pretty quickly, pick that apart when we're looking on the back end through the MLS. So that's the first thing that I do when somebody sends me property. And all 5 of these properties, I'm not seeing any red flags. So I definitely things are changing. Definitely the last couple of weeks, even the people that were active in this market, I think a lot of them put their hand up and said, you know what, I just want to take a little bit of a break. Interest rates went up so fast. We were going so hard. And now we kind of want to see what's going to happen with the market. And it feels like that's maybe starting to change again in this last week. But I think it's too early to really know for sure.
Yeah, and I've noticed a couple things recently too. I think a lot of people are waiting through the first weekend to see what happens with the property. Because I had a client that was interested in a property in Poway recently. They didn't have any offers through the first weekend, and then on the second weekend, they ended up having 3 offers. Yeah. So I think people are like, okay, let's see if it gets through the first weekend, and then throw our offers in there too. So, but if you really like a property, I wouldn't wait. Oh, hang on, I'm having some issues here with my camera here. Why does this keep going off? Give me 1 second.
Don't worry, I'll keep this side looking good over here. And you know what I want to know is, I just had some clients ask me today, all right, what is the strategy for going in and visiting homes? Because normally for the last 2 years, I'd say, most properties are going to hit the market on Wednesday or Thursday. We plan showings over the weekend, and then they're probably going to be reviewing offers Sunday night, if not Monday. Now that's starting to change as properties are starting to sit on the market for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We have to be able to adjust with that as needed. So I'm kind of interested if was that kind of your approach too, or have you been changing your thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're definitely having a much better luck getting offers accepted now. I mean, the last 2 that I've gotten accepted, I think there was only 2 or 3 offers on each one.
Love it.
But now, listings are starting to pile up a little bit. Not pile up, just more than they used to be. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera here, but it keeps going out. So I think you don't have to overbid as much as you used to. Sometimes people are still trying to underprice them. So it's kind of a case by case basis as far as the houses go. But it's definitely become a lot easier to get it. And then if you really want to get a deal, you can kind of target those properties that have been on the market for a little bit longer because I mean, I think I was going through, there was like 30 some properties in Rancho Penasquitos, like the kind of the area that I live in. And out of those 30, 9 of them got price reductions. So there's actually 2 houses in my neighborhood right now that got price reductions. So if you want to be my neighbor, you could easily come in. That might be why they're getting price reductions, because they're my neighbor, but you know.
That could be it right there.
That is very, very, very possible. So, okay, let me get through some of these articles here. I don't know if this camera is going to go off again, so forgive me if this is continuing to happen. I might have
just throw it in your backup camera. I know you got one.
Well, I know, but it's a terrible backup camera. So if it goes off again, I'm going to switch. Okay, so this is not exactly housing related news, but this was a article about.
Let's see it.
There we go.
What could it be?
It is a Wild Hub puts out, you know, they always put out these like top 10 lists and all this other stuff here in throughout the country. And they named the 2022 best and worst places to raise a family. And they do base it off of like affordability. So usually we don't get very high on these lists because affordability is a little bit of a problem here in California.
Yeah.
But we actually got rated number 6 out of the whole entire country in best places to raise a family. So as you can see right here, it says 80 for affordability, which higher number is bad. But all the other ones were very high on, like family fun, number 5, 16 for health and safety, 10 for education and childcare. So we're very high in these 3 categories, but 80 not super high, which was kind of expected. And then socioeconomics, 22 on there. So the only other California, there's 2 California. I'm actually surprised there's 2 other Californias on this list. Irvine, California, which is in your neck of the woods, your where you grew up, or somewhat near Irvine, I guess, right?
Yep.
And then Fremont, California, which I've actually never been to Fremont. So
NorCal.
Yeah. And then Seattle, I was actually surprised by this. Seattle's affordability was a 20 on the scale. I thought Seattle was relatively more expensive, but I guess is it really less expensive than San Diego? I didn't think so.
I guess maybe it's not just housing, but all around affordability. So, you know, maybe they tie in some other key aspects of, you know,
for sure,
gas prices, grocery prices, all that stuff.
Got it. Okay. My camera went off again. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that is accurate.
Okay. We're switching out of this here in a second. Okay. Stop sharing. And then let me switch out of this camera because it's driving me insane. Okay, now we got my crappy iMac camera on here, so we're gonna go with it.
You're still looking good, Bern.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. That's why I put you on the show. You're always so kind and thoughtful here. Yeah, and if you guys can tell me where you guys are watching from, if you're from California, from San Diego, put that in the chat there too. We always like to see where people are watching from.
Yeah, do we have more people from California or outside of California watching right now? That's what I always like to see.
Yeah, and just want to put this first question up here. It's Kelvin, who's a frequent watch of our channel. I hope the Spaniard will be here. I like the Spaniard. I think the Spaniard likes you, Kelvin. So hopefully he will join us at some point.
Hopefully we get some sassy Spaniard comments coming in. Spaniard, where are you at?
He sure is sassy, that's for sure. Okay, one other article here. And it's funny about some of these articles, once I get this up here. Home buyer frenzy as San Diego home prices increases are up the most in 18 years. See, the problem with some of these stats that we get, they're like a month or 2 old by the time they actually make an article about it. Like even our MLS, I feel like is like a month and a half behind on stats. So Case-Shiller Index shows San Diego prices increases 29% in a year, which is true. But this is basically based on stats up until up through April, I believe, or no, through March. And we're in January 1st right now. So yes, the first 3 months of this year were very, very, very busy when rates were like hovering around 3.5%. But in the next 2 months or so, prices haven't really dipped per se, but you are seeing price reductions. You're not getting people to bid way over asking price anymore, which I am actually quite enjoying, actually,
Yeah.
because the last 2 years trying to get offers accepted was very, very difficult. So let me know if anybody else is out there trying to buy and what their experiences have been, because I'm curious to see did they get offers accepted? Are they still seeing bidding wars? I know what our experience is, but I always like to hear what you guys are thinking as well. So, or seeing.
And just to add a little bit more context to that, because you're talking about the data being delayed. And this is one of the biggest challenges about what we do, Burn, is we want to tell people what's going on in the market, and we can give our own personal experiences, or we can go off of data. The data right now, if I go onto my MLS and pull up some statistics, the best it's going to have is information for, it doesn't even have May yet. So it's going to have April's numbers compared to April of 2021. And those April numbers, like the amount of closed homes that happen in April, means that they were accepted offers, the previous month. So we're looking at data from several months ago when the market was as hot as it's ever been here in San Diego. And a lot has happened since then. So
yeah, I think sometimes the public takes a little bit longer to realize what's going on, because we don't really have the stats as easily accessible, because our stats for May will come out sometime in the middle of June. And by that time, especially in a market that's changing, somewhat rapidly, 2 weeks makes a big difference, I feel like, in this market. So
absolutely.
Okay, so I thought that was interesting. They said prices haven't increased at this pace in 18 years. The biggest annual rise remains a 33% increase in July of 04. So not quite as fast as 04, but it was pretty fast. So I thought that was interesting. Here is another one. Mortgage demand falls to the lowest level since the end of 2018, even as interest rates ease a bit. Although I feel like the end of 2018, it wasn't that low. So I feel like it's kind of it just went up so much the last 2 years that 2018 is probably just like a normal number. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and here's another thing that Derek Evans, who has a great YouTube channel in San Diego as well, he comes from a radio background, so he's really, really good at this kind of stuff and really good at analyzing, especially on the lending side and finance side. And I pulled up a similar article, and he said, okay, well, mortgage demand, is that including refinances? Because if it does, that's going to be a huge chunk of the mortgage demand, because rates were so low for so long that even if the rates stayed really low, so many people had already refinanced and cash out refinances that, of course, the demand is going to fall. And if rates go up, of course, it's going to continue to fall. So that's not to say that fewer people aren't applying for mortgages to purchase a house. It just goes to, the headlines of articles versus what the actual reality is. And I don't know what the answer is, but it's just interesting to think about.
See, applications for mortgage to purchase a home fell 1% last week compared to previous week. So 1% is not a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is probably, like you said, due to refinancing. That people, obviously, if rates went from 3.5 to 5, not a lot of people are going to refinance at that rate. At least not right now. So, that makes a lot of sense. That's why I have you on the show, Dan. Smart guy.
We just learn a little bit more from each other every time,
Every single time. Okay, so I thought this article was also, it's not really San Diego centric per se, but this is home sellers in migration hotspots increasingly turn to price drops. So this San Diego is on this list, but it's a little ways down there. So where is San Diego? Here it is, right there. So they said a share of homes with sale with a price drop in April 2022. Almost 25% of homes had a price drop in April 22 out of all the homes that were on the market. So
that's pretty wild.
I thought this was actually interesting. In a year ago, April 2021, there was 15.9%, which I also thought was like a lot, because I didn't really see a year ago. I didn't see any. Maybe I saw like a handful here and there, but still 15.9%. I felt like was higher than I was expecting for the most part.
It's we get so caught on the homes that are the most competitive, because that's what our clients are sending us. That's what we're viewing. That's what we're putting offers on. That it's very easy to forget that there are plenty of homes out there that are overpriced. It doesn't matter what the market is doing. There's going to be people that want more money than their home is worth. And so that number definitely surprises me, because we know what all the other, what a lot of the data is in San Diego. And so that does stand out pretty, it's pretty crazy to think about. But also the other thing to think about is the market has been going so fast homes have been selling over one weekend, that as a real estate agent advising a client selling their house, if their home had been on the market for even 1 week, 2 weeks without getting an offer, like that's a normal market. But in this market, that the perceptions of the buyers are that, there's something wrong. So I think we're a little bit more trigger happy to want to make those price adjustments so that we don't get to the point where buyers are like, ooh, now we know we can get a really big deal. Maybe there's something wrong with that property. You want to spark the interest again so you can try and get a little bit of a bidding war once again. So yeah, there's a couple different ways that you can think about it, but still those numbers are pretty wild to think about.
Yeah, and for all you, if any of you guys are sellers out there, just be very, very conscious of what your realtor's telling you about pricing, because if you even overprice it just a little bit, you could be sitting for a couple weeks. So, and I'm not a huge fan of like underpricing it so much that you create like 20 offers. But if the last comp was say $1 million, maybe go at 950 just to make sure you get those offers, because once especially when people see, I think people will probably start getting used to seeing houses sit a little bit longer. But in this interim right now, we're kind of in that in between stage. Just be very conscious of where you price it, because you could be sitting.
Yeah, I agree. Very, very, very important if you're selling your house right now that you are strategic with your pricing. The last thing you want is for your house to sit on the market and then be there against other homes that are sitting on the market. Because I just had a buyer consultation today, and these buyers I was talking to a couple of weeks ago, and their expectation is, we're going to have to pay 100, 150 over asking, like if we find the right house. And we met today and they're like, all right, here are the homes that we're looking at. We're thinking we can submit offers $50,000 or $100,000 under asking. It's so funny how quickly in the buyer's mind it can shift to, all right, well, obviously this has been on the market for 3 weeks, so we want a $50,000 or $100,000 discount because we're seeing properties drop their prices by that much. So why wouldn't we offer that amount?
Yeah, I actually had a client. This is actually the first time I actually could say this, literally in the last, I don't know, 2.5 years. It's like a lot of people were still expecting they had to go 150 over asking price to get it. And like, wait, so you're telling me we could actually offer under asking price? I'm like, yeah, like you said, I'm not saying you can offer 100 to 200,000. They'll actually entertain you. You got to still be reasonable. But if you want to offer, 25K less than on a $1.5 million house, you still might have a shot at it. Again, it's a case by case basis, but it's
very situational right now. It comes down to whether the seller is willing to risk leaving the property on the market because they've been told by all their friends and family that this is the hottest seller's market ever. So why would they accept 20,000 under asking?
Yeah,
it's a very interesting time right now.
I know. Just be careful what you read too, and don't always. And you don't have to just listen to us. Obviously, do your own research, check what's out there, and see what's out there.
But also listen to us. I mean, we're good guys, right?
we're all right, and we're out there every day trying to figure out where this market's going. So it's pretty interesting. Okay, so there was one more article that I lost somehow. This was like the most important one. Hold on.
I know exactly what it is too. I can't wait. My mouth is watering thinking about it. There it is.
There it is. 2 San Diego donut shops ranked among the best in the United States. So this is big news. We've actually featured both of these on my channel at some point, mainly because we go to a lot of donut shops. But Sesame Donuts in here it is in Carmel Mountain Ranch that has the Pokemon donuts. They can create giant donuts. The glazed donuts are one of the best glazed donuts I've had. You can see that in our donut review video that was 29 minutes long. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't realize it was going to be 29 minutes. And then Broad Street Dough Company we featured on our Encinitas tour. So it was ranked 37th on the list. This is on the Yelp list. But Sesame Donuts was 6th on the Yelp list in the country, which I thought was crazy. But that's awesome. They do make good donuts, so I would check that out.
So I need to know who's the person that's tried all of these 100 top donut places.
It was Courtney, actually.
So that's why she's not here tonight.
Yes. That's tribute to the donut queen.
I'm not eating fried foods or desserts right now, and so this just sounds so delicious.
Yeah. I actually a client of mine. Thank you to Anthony and Kate that I just got their keys to them up in Carlsbad today. They came down from LA, so they brought me Randy's donuts, a whole baker's dozen of Randy's donuts, and they were delicious. I had to have them, and I'm trying to lose some weight. So having a box full of donuts in my car all the way home from Carlsbad was very difficult. So, but thank you for the donuts; they were delicious. If you guys are watching, so
Awesome.
Okay, so that is done with my articles. For now, I'm glad my article sharing system worked this time.
Yeah.
Now, so if you guys have any questions, looks like we got some questions here in the chat. We're gonna put these in here. See what we got.
Bring the questions.
Oh, this might be a friend of yours, Dan. Bane Thorvald. You know Bane? Yay, Dan too.
What's up, Bane? Thanks for tuning in.
We got Steve A from Rancho Bernardo, right around the corner from me, not too far. Good to see you, Steve. There's Bane again. It's exciting to see more and lower price inventory, except maybe Poway area. I'm still seeing it. Oh, wait, do you live in Poway, Bane? I mean, I've seen reductions in Poway as well.
Yeah, it's happening.
Actually, the one that my clients were trying to buy was in Poway, but that was a beautiful house with a big lot with a pool. So I've had a feeling it was going to be popular, but it took like a whole another week for people to realize that it was an awesome house. So. Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it in Poway, you're definitely going to start seeing it in Poway. All my clients right now are like, wow, 2 weeks ago, we had a hard time finding anything that we liked. And now it's like we have 5-10 properties that we want to go see. So it's great.
Usually it would be like, I know when people would come into town, like, okay, we got 3 houses to choose from. So out of all of North County, San Diego, maybe not that quite to that level. But now you have, I was looking at Carlsbad for the weekend because I had a client coming into town, and there was probably like 10 to 12 houses that were worth seeing probably in their price range. So it's a nice problem to have if you're trying to buy a house in here. And it's not a terrible problem for selling. Maybe you would have got a little bit more money for your house if this was like 3 months ago. But again, prices aren't crashing. They're just,
yes.
I think it's more of a correction, as they say. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, to put things in perspective, I'm not sure what the active inventory is today, but as of like a week ago, we were at 2,500 homes in San Diego County.
I just looked this up in San Diego. It's 3,011 right now.
Okay. So it's I think in January, we were at 1,460. So we've over doubled inventory so far just since January. Now, don't get too excited because every year, December, January are going to be the slowest months with the least amount of homes for sale. Right. It's going to pick up to now, which is like, kind of the peak, or should be the peak. And then if you look historically, like if you take the pandemic out of it, the rolling 3-year average of active inventory this time of year should be like 6,500 homes. Yeah. So we're making some great leeway, and there's a lot of uncertainty because things are happening so fast. But, we need 10,000 to 15,000 homes available to hit a neutral market, and we're still pretty far from that happening.
Yeah, but I'd not be surprised if inventory picks up quicker than people expect it to. Too.
It is,
especially if it's making like more than if we've already doubled. Like I'm curious to see where we are in like August, September. Yeah, where we just hit June 1st today. Is that correct? I don't know what day it is. So I'm curious, are we going to be at 5,000 by the end of the summer? I don't know. We'll see what happens. So,
and then the whole Airbnb thing, like I made I have a couple videos coming out on that. So the Airbnb rules changed it's just in the city of San Diego. So it's not San Diego County, but the city of San Diego is just about half the population, a little bit less than half the population of the county. And they're changing the rules. So basically they're capping the amount of short-term rentals at 1% of total housing inventory. And currently we're at about 2%. So there's about 6,500 homes that are currently short-term rentals that are going to lose their short-term rental status, which means a big chunk of them are either going to sell the house or they're going to make it a long-term rental. And this also coincides with all this other inventory hitting the market and the market changing. So it's not enough that's going to like bring us up to 15,000 homes that we need, but it's just another thing that's going to help buyers and help renters out there, which is great.
So do you think there's going to be less people buying Airbnbs in the next year? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because, just for the properties that are in Airbnb right now, they know that only half of them are going to be able to keep their status because it's just going to be a lottery at the end of the year. So if someone reached out to me and said, Dan, I want to buy an Airbnb or short-term rental in the city of San Diego, I'd say you're crazy. Don't do it. You're going to lose your money because you aren't going to be able to get that status. But again, that's just the city of San Diego. You have to look at the rules of every single individual city, and they all have different rules. So you can go up to Carlsbad, you can go up to Oceanside. They all have like you just go to their government website and you can see the very specific rules that they have.
Yeah, San Diego County is quite large. We have
Yep.
over 3 million people here in the area, and a lot of different cities, a lot of different towns. I know we
Yep.
kind of like say this San Diego as a whole, but there's a lot of different places here in San Diego.
Well, it gets blurred, right? Because we just say San Diego, and so it's not being like explicit. Is it the county of 3.35 million people, or is it the city of, I think, 1.45 or something like that?
That is true. That's true. Okay, let's get to a few more questions here. We got a lot of people on here today.
Awesome.
Good evening, everyone. Danilo Fernandez. Good to see you, man.
What's happening?
Okay, probably household income is higher in Seattle. Okay, we were talking about
Oh, so affordability. Yeah.
affordability
Yes.
in Seattle. I think prices of things are pretty similar to San Diego. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it's that much higher in Seattle? I guess with Amazon and stuff up there, they have.
Yeah. I should remember these stats much better.
Yeah. Did you
because
do a
like,
Seattle versus San Diego video before?
probably like 2 months ago. But yeah, Sean is absolutely right. A big part of the affordability issue in San Diego is that, at least what we're being told, is that if you're looking at household income versus the cost of living, the home prices, the gas prices, all that stuff
on that.
So yeah, exactly.
Okay, we have Canada. So Bain is from Canada. Oh, he's from chiming in from Canada. That's
Nice.
awesome. Oh,
I don't
another
know
guy.
what MN is. Canada MN.
Canada.
Bain, tell us what MN means.
I know. Should we know what that means? I don't know what that. Okay.
Canada, Minnesota.
Another Canadian, Vancouver, British Columbia over here.
Nice. I've had a few Canadians reaching out to me recently.
Yeah, we love Canadians here. More the merrier. Yep. Okay. Hello from Mission Valley, Chris N. Nice to see you.
Going on, Chris.
Sean did in Seattle, moving to San Diego next month. That's awesome. Very cool.
Nice.
I had a couple of people from Kirkland, 2 people from Kirkland the last year, I guess, which is just outside Seattle, I believe, coming down here recently.
It's a great time of year to be coming to San Diego. We've had like kind of just gloomy, kind of crappy weather for the last really couple months. And then now it's starting to heat up. It's starting to have really nice
we get
days.
The May gray and the June gloom, but the last couple of days has been actually really nice. We haven't had any gloominess. So Gloria Gunning, movie Austin, but moving to San Diego in August. Very cool. Well, if you ever need any help, don't call Dan.
Fair enough. But I'm curious, why are you moving from Austin? Because I thought everyone was leaving San Diego for Texas. So definitely let us know.
And do you follow Jeremy Knight in Austin? Because he is our nemesis there as well.
We love Jeremy.
Just kidding. Yeah, but I would be curious to know why you're moving from Austin. Is it just work or just ready to get out of Texas? Mm-hmm. Sunshine, I feel like I remember you from last week. Do you think Normal Heights or Kensington area will come down on price faster than Carlsbad, Encinitas, close to beach area, looking for second home and waiting for lower price? I'm from Laguna Beach. My thoughts are probably yes. I would say the beach communities tend to keep their value a little bit more than the more metro areas in San Diego, like a Normal Heights or Kensington. I wouldn't say it's dramatic by any means, but like say prices came down 5% by the beach, maybe Normal Heights, Kensington could be like 8%, something like that. These are just like hypothetical numbers. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, so don't at me on that. But I could see, especially because the Carlsbad Encinitas, they have like the higher school ratings. Those ones tend to hold up a little bit better than areas that do not have as good as schools. I'm not saying they're not good schools in Normal Heights and Kensington, but on the great school ratings and that's thing, they're a little bit lower. So if I would have to guess, and this is kind of just an educated guess, I would say they could come down a little bit lower than the beach communities like a Carlsbad or Encinitas. What's your thoughts, Dan?
I think the two, if you're looking as a whole, what areas have maybe are a safer bet from prices coming down? Definitely the top 2 requests I get are great schools and walkability.
Yep.
So Normal Heights, Kensington, they're not known for having the highest rated schools, but they absolutely have the walkability. So you have that going for it. But I will say, I think even more importantly than that, what we're going to see a lot of with the market changing right now is not necessarily this chunk of an area versus this chunk of an area. It's what are the homes that the individual location of that house are not as good. So is it on next to a freeway or next to a main road, or is the house next door a dump and they just have like trash all over the place and the lawn completely overgrown? those I think are the homes that are going to get hit the hardest right now because people have options.
I agree with that because I've actually seen the ones that I've seen, like exact same model. Like in my area, it's a lot of like same models of houses over here,
Yeah.
like the track homes. And one house was the same exact model, sold for $2.1 million. Same exact model in better condition, but backed up to the freeway, was listed at 195, and they didn't have any. I think it eventually sold for like 1.9 ish or something. But that's like
Sure.
$200,000 difference.
Yeah.
But if that was during 6 months ago when the market was as hot, people didn't care where the house was.
Yeah.
They didn't care if it was next to a freeway. They like, we just want a house in this neighborhood. Now, I think as more inventory comes on the market, those ones are the ones that are going to get hit a little bit harder, but the good ones will still get premium prices. If it's remodeled on a good street with, no neighbor behind them or a canyon view, are still going to get very good prices, in my opinion.
Yep. But and if you're looking for a deal, I think Bern talked about this earlier. Just look for the homes that are on the market for 2 or 3 weeks. Like that's definitely going to be your best opportunity. And because a lot more of those homes are sitting on the market, you have a lot to choose from.
Yeah, and then this is the other thing. I've people like to do this sometimes. They see a price drop of $100,000 on a house, and then they want to offer $100,000 less than the price drop is.
Yeah.
So the price drop already occurred. So if you want it, try to get relatively close to the asking price. Otherwise, the seller's already probably pissed off that they didn't get the price they wanted. And second, now they're going to want a $200,000 discount on what I first started at. Granted, obviously a house is worth what someone's willing to pay for it. But if you actually want to try to get it, just keep that in mind when you're offering on it.
Yeah, I would say in a lot of times in that scenario, the listing agent had to have a very difficult discussion with that seller to inform them that they're not going to get what they wanted for that house. And the house is not going to sell for more like their friends and their family and their neighbors told them it would. So getting them to drop it $100,000 is a strategy to get a little bit of a bidding war going again. So that's what the seller is hoping for. Now, obviously, if it sits on the market for another week or two at that price, then it is what it is. Like they're probably going to have to get a little bit under whatever that price reduction is. It was way overpriced. But yeah, if they just made a significant price reduction like that, then I completely agree with you.
Yeah, because there's a house over Oviedo, which I think it's actually well priced now. But I know a lot of people are going to go into it thinking they can get it even better. I mean, maybe you could. Like if someone's desperate enough, people sell for whatever they need to. But just think about it from the seller's point of view. I know you want to get it for the best price, but they want to get the most price. So it's a bit of a chess game as well too. So okay, what else we got here? Deb, one of our frequent watchers here on the show. Good to see you. Deb, when are you moving to San Diego? I feel like we've been talking for years here. It's time. It's time.
Where is Westlake Village?
It's up where my wife is from. She's Agora Hills, kind of up in
there. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thousand Oaks. Thousand Oaks. Out just north of LA.
For sure.
Okay. Kyle. There's Kyle. Good to see you. I live in town next to Fremont. Not sure where they get their stats. ASP for a home in Fremont is around $1.3 million.
Huh. What's ASP?
Average sales price? Is that average sales price?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh, I'm surprised it's that high. Okay, good to know. We have Lyndon from Maryland. Good to hear.
What's up, Lyndon?
Nine Angels, another frequent watcher of the show here. Hello from Mount Helix, Rancho San Diego. Great spot down there.
Yeah, kind of like a little hidden gem down there.
It is. I feel like people don't talk about that area enough. Yeah. I feel like, I'm so North County heavy that, I don't talk about nearly as much as I should, but a great place to live.
For sure.
No offense, but Fremont, Newark is getting ghetto. I left in 2015 and bought here in San Diego. Uh-oh, Kyle, you might have to fight on your hands here.
Can't make everybody happy,
I know. Not every
people say that about San Diego, and
that's true.
I couldn't disagree more.
It's definitely not for everyone, but it's for a lot of people. I'll tell you that. I can drive 15 to 17 miles and be at several beaches, including Coronado.
Nice.
Can't beat that. That's why one of the big reasons I left Los Angeles is because beaches, unless you lived like in Santa Monica or like one of the like Manhattan Beach, like I lived in Brentwood, which is probably 4 miles to the beach, but it would take me 25 minutes to get to the beach, which doesn't make any sense. I live like 15 miles from the beach, and I can be at the beach in 12 minutes in San Diego. So it's hard to like show the differences without actually living through them. but there's just like the ease of use here in San Diego is much better than it was my time. I lived in Los Angeles for like 8 or 9 years. So, especially with kids, like you have to lug all your stuff out of the car, the boogie boards and blankets and all this stuff. It's just everything's a little bit easier here in San Diego, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we got summer coming up, so like let's talk about the beaches. I think one of the other things I love about the beaches here is there's just so much public access. Like I don't even know really of private beaches in San Diego. It's like I live up in North County in Encinitas, and we have Moonlight Beach.
Rub it
and
in,
we have,
man. Rub it in.
we have Moonlight Beach. We have there's all these different state beaches, and then in between there's all these like little mini public access points where you could go down on the busiest days of the year and like get a spot. And there's just miles and miles of white sandy beaches all throughout San Diego.
I usually go to Seaside Reef and like on the border of Cardiff and Solana Beach right there.
Yeah.
I can park like 10 feet from the beach there with my state parks pass. If you guys don't have a state parks pass when you move here, you should get one. So you can park there and walk to the beach. Like I said, if you're lugging all your stuff down to the beach, it's super great. You can also order pizza from Best Pizza and Brew, and they will bring pizza right to the lifeguard stand, and you can pick it up right there. It's fantastic.
Well, I just take my electric bike down to the beach, which is nice. We were walking through a neighborhood the other day, and someone was selling their golf cart for like $5,500, and we were very tempted to pull the trigger on that one.
For sale?
Ride a little golf cart down to the beach. That would have been sweet.
Is it still for sale? Because I've always wanted to buy a golf cart. My wife won't let me do it. So I bought a sit-down scooter. She wasn't real happy about it.
I love it.
Okay, what else we got here, guys? Any other questions? I paid cash for my home in San Diego 6 years ago, and now it's worth double what I paid. Good for you.
Not a bad investment.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's Bain again, looking at La Mesa versus Rancho Bernardo, wondering where single young professionals might gravitate towards if they own or rent. I would say it kind of depends. It depends where you're working too. Like if you're working from home and it doesn't matter, I would say I like La Mesa because it's got a little downtown area. It's very walkable. I'm a big fan of walkable neighborhoods. I don't live in one of those, but that's what I wish I kind of did sometimes. But Rancho Bernardo, they got the Apple office moving in there. You'll probably get more younger people, but it doesn't really have much of a nightlife at all for the most part in Rancho Bernardo. There's a lot of 55 plus in Rancho Bernardo. There is a really good pizza place there called The Shop Pizza Place. You should check that out. And then Cork and Craft is also very good. But for the most part, things kind of, if you want some sort of nightlife as a single, I'm not sure how. Oh, he's a young professional, he said. Single white, young professional. It's going to be a little bit of a sleepy town, in my opinion. La Mesa probably has a little bit more life to it.
Yeah, both great areas. I think I think of both of them as like more family areas, but I don't know. I think either could be a good fit. Just Bern described it really well. There are very few. I think people have this perception that San Diego is just all walkable and you can just walk wherever you want. And all these.
That's what I thought of it before I moved here and spent time here. I thought it was like, one big beach town essentially.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, San Diego is spread out. So you have all the coastal communities. You have everything surrounding Balboa Park from downtown to Little Italy to Bankers Hill, Hillcrest, North Park, South Park. But that's just all kind of concentrated. And then really the only other walkable kind of area that I could think of is La Mesa. And it's like 3 or 4 blocks. So it's not a giant walkable area, but it's really fun little spot.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Rancho Bernardo is not very walkable. So I guess it kind of depends what lifestyle you're going for too. So,
yep.
Okay. In La Mesa, you are so close to the city and airport, etc. Yeah, you are. In Rancho Bernardo, you're probably like, is this the same question? Oh, these are different questions. Okay. Yeah, La Mesa, you can be there in the airport in 15 minutes to the airport from La Mesa?
Yeah, and the nice thing is you can either take the 8 freeway or go down to the 94, so you can kind of like bypass traffic sometimes going that way. Sure. So yeah, it's a great spot.
Okay, Matty Ice. Is this Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons? Watching from Long Island, New York. Nice, very cool. New York and California, both expensive. This is correct.
Yeah.
True story right there. Would you say that if you opt for a townhouse condo versus a single family home in a new community, you could avoid paying for Melrose?
I don't think it matters.
Townhome or condo in a new community will still probably have Melrose. There's a few places
Yeah.
that did not have Melrose when they were built. I know those places in Rancho Penasquitas had condos and townhomes that had no Melrose, but I would say, I don't know, 85% of new construction has Melrose, which is something, I mean, I've made that number up, but it feels like that way.
Yeah, it seems like certain areas it's way more prevalent. Like I'm pretty sure 100% of new construction in Chula Vista has Melrose. I don't know that I've ever seen any that doesn't. And then if you're like in the city of San Diego or like somewhat central, getting into North County, it can kind of be hit or miss whether it has it or not.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the only way, from what I could be wrong about this, like, unless if something was built there before, they can kind of avoid
Yeah.
Melrose. Like, if
Mhm.
it was something that they tore it down and rebuilt it, but if it was just open space, it almost always has Melrose. But I could be
That's
wrong.
what makes sense to me.
Yes. We're going to go with that story. And if you guys have something different, let us know. Okay. Well, we got a lot of questions here. Okay. I try to keep these to an hour, so we got another 15, 20 minutes or so. How's the homeless in South San Diego? Is it as bad as what they say on news closed downtown, North Park, La Mesa area compared to South Encinitas, Carlsbad area? What's your thoughts on this, Dan?
Yeah, the homeless, it's a tough thing. And, I've avoided making a video about the homeless in San Diego for a long time because it's a tough topic to talk about and do it the
Sure,
right
yeah.
way. And there's no way you're going to make everybody happy with what you say, but there's no doubt that it's an issue. And
All
it's
of the
getting,
California towns, for the most part. I mean, Los Angeles, San
yes.
Francisco, they all have a pretty big homeless problem. Um, they are more concentrated down in the downtown area.
Mhm.
I don't know
Especially
about,
East Village on
yeah,
the
East
east
Village
side.
especially, but anywhere downtown, there's an issue downtown for sure.
Mhm.
And Carlsbad, South Encinitas, I mean, not much, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, most of the help they get is downtown, so that's kind of where people live.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's in North County, there's just not as many up that way for the most part, I guess is the short of it. Should make a video on this somehow but without, offending people is what my goal is as well. So
Yeah, I'm planning on probably in about a month. I'll have a video out with my perspective on it. But I agree with you 100%. East Village, I mean, that's where you see block after block after block of people in tents. It's really
yeah,
really sad.
it
I think
is.
the numbers just
Definitely
came
gotten
out.
worse over the pandemic too. I think they said it went up 10% of homelessness since the
Yeah,
pandemic started. So
so that just came out. I think it was 10% over the last year, but you could be right. It might have been
maybe it was
over the
last year. Right.
pandemic. I think, and here's kind of the funny thing is, well, not funny, but interesting is I think Carlsbad, they said their numbers actually went down by like 10% or something like that. And then I started doing some more research and I got some anecdotal information from someone who lives in the area and was a part of the counting process. So basically what they do is they count one day out of the year. They drive around specific neighborhoods and they count how many homeless people are on the streets. And what they said was the morning that they decided to go out ended up being really bad weather. It was raining. It was not a very nice day. So the normal places that they went to go count how many homeless people there were fewer people because they were getting, covered. They
Right.
were in other areas away
Right.
from
Right.
the bad weather. So
You think they'd have a better system, but I mean, I guess it's a very
yeah,
difficult way to do it other than just count. So
yeah. So I don't know the validity of that, but I just thought it was interesting.
for sure. Okay, so it didn't really answer your question, but that's
Yeah.
all we have for now. You can get huge lots in East County, but no HOA or Melrose, not far from San Diego City Airport. Yeah, and the Melrose is usually, so you can find empty lots and build your own house, but if you're buying from like a builder, it almost always has Melrose, I would say. Is that what you would
It just
agree?
depends. Like I have some clients closing on Friday. They bought new construction in Santee, and it's really nice. It's a really small community, only 6 homes. So they're over $1 million. They're really really nice, and no Melrose. So it really just depends what area. I think they're right. East County, Santee, El Cajon, a lot of those communities, like Bern was saying earlier, they're already like existing communities, and so the Melrose is really to build up the local community. I think it would be think of it this way too, like why are you really trying to avoid Melrose? Melrose is good in a sense that there's a lot of money and funds going into building up your local community. New roads, new schools, new fire departments, new shopping centers, new landscaping, all this stuff going in. And guess what that's going to do? That's going to increase the value of your home. It's going to bring in better neighbors. So like, yeah, if you are just desperately trying to avoid Melrose, I would ask why, because there are certainly benefits to having Melrose.
Well, I see it even over where I live in Torrey Highlands, which is in 92129, but there's also Rancho Penasquitas, which most of it does not have Melrose.
Yeah.
And you can just tell that the roads are better taken care of in Torrey Highlands than they are. And there's this one spot right over by the Vaughns on Black Mountain Road. That intersection of Black Mountain and I think it's Sundance or Twin Trails, I forget which road it is like the bumpiest pothole-ridden road of all time, and they never fix it. But if it on our side, they're all clean, like smooth roads. So it's just like little things like that you notice. But some people just don't want to pay it. And if it did have Melrose or it didn't have Melrose, the prices probably would be higher than they would be with ones that. So people take into account the payment, not necessarily just the purchase price. So I have Melrose where I live. So.
And also keep in mind it expires after a certain period of time. So if you're buying a house that is 18 years old and it has Melrose, it might only have Melrose for 2 more years.
They can extend Melrose sometimes, so just keep that in mind too, because it doesn't it's not guaranteed to end every time. A lot of times it does, but it doesn't always. So as some people will find out.
And you could also just pay it off ahead of time.
I've been wanting to pay mine off, especially with the home price increases. Like, should I just use some of that equity and just pay it off so we don't have to worry about it? It'll be a good selling point when you try to go sell the house too. So.
Yeah, for sure.
The homeless in La Mesa Spring Valley has been moved out of the area. They are working on more large shelters. Okay, I didn't know that. Bain says, "Oh, thank you, Nina." Okay.
Thanks, Nina.
Or 9. It's 9 Angels. Is that Nina?
Oh, okay, 9. Yeah.
Same difference. Okay, moving to San Diego from Atlanta in August. Hope I don't regret. I don't think you will regret it at all, as long as you can afford it. So just if you're moving here, make sure you have a job lined up or something, because your money can go very quickly if you don't have a place, if you don't have a job or income coming in. So that's my one tip. Make sure you have a job.
I mean, I was searching around for the cheapest gas I could find today, and it was $6.10 a gallon. So it's...
I have an electric car. I don't know what gas.
I know. We're definitely looking into a Tesla or a RAV4 Prime.
There's a million different electric cars now. It doesn't have to be a Tesla. It could be, a Ford or
plug-in hybrids.
Yeah,
they're great. You can get the first 40 to 60 miles all electric and then go hybrid after that. I think that's a fantastic option.
You won't regret it. Or the weather only makes it all worth it. I mean, that's why, people leave San Diego because they probably can't afford it. I don't think there's some people with political reasons that want to leave, but for the most part, the quality of life is very, very good here in San Diego. So it's either maybe you don't like the politics of it or you don't like the cost of living here. But other than that, I think overall there's 9 out of 10 people will pretty much enjoy living here in San Diego.
The reality is
8 out of 10, not 9 out of 10.
8. We'll go with 8.5.
Yeah, that sounds good.
The reality is you have to sacrifice a little bit to live here because things cost so much, because there's so much demand for people to live here, whether you're looking to rent or buy, whether you have, a couple $1,000, a month budget for rent or $3 million for a house. Every level of that, people are making sacrifices from what they want and what they think they can get and what lifestyle they want to have or have had in other areas to what they actually can get here in San Diego. But I mean, we talk to a lot of people that move here, and it's always fun. I just met with some clients on Monday. We had brunch. They were here for exactly 1 year. It was like a week before their first year in San Diego. And just so ecstatic. I mean, they just love San Diego. And that's the response I get all the time from the people relocating here.
Yeah, for sure. Same on my boat too. So I'm in 91941 Forte Mountain. Oh yeah, we already talked about 9. Okay. Have you seen reduction in new home prices? When do you anticipate that happening? It's hard. I mean, they don't. So the problem with seeing reductions in new home, they don't close for a few months. So even if they did get price reductions, it's hard to know for 3 or 4 months down the line. But my guess is, new construction is always desirable for people, so I don't see it going down dramatically. But I did have someone reach out to me this past week. They were buying, I think one of the Arlo homes over by my house where I live, and they were in escrow. I'm not sure if I should tell all this information, but they were in escrow at a certain price, and they thought, but then the house prices over by in my neighborhood were seeing price reductions, like 100K, one went down 150K. So same size house for new construction with a tiny yard versus a slightly older house that probably needs a little updating for like 165 to 1.8 range. So $200,000 difference. Is new construction with tiny yards worth the same price as a 2003 house? I don't know. New construction are not negotiable. I think they're trying to, keep the buyers that they have. They're not going to try to, you know, I. Long story short, I think the prices will dip a little bit on new construction. I think especially as people start backing out. I have people saying they want to back out. They could lose $30,000 to back out of it to buy a cheaper house that's had a price reductions. So if this was not the first person that's called me about this too. So I'm not saying don't buy the new construction. If that's where you want to live and that's where you want to be for the foreseeable future, it doesn't matter if you bought it for 2 million or 1.9. If you're going to stay there for 5, 10, 15 years. But if you don't, the problem with those new construction ones, the yards are so small. Land is at a premium here in San Diego. So if you're buying in 5 years from now, that house is not going to be new. So it loses luster a little bit. If you have 2 little kids on a tiny little yard, I know for me personally, I wouldn't want to live in a tiny yard with 2 little kids because my kids use our backyard. We don't have a gigantic backyard, but by San Diego standards, it's not a bad size. So that's just my 2 cents, but obviously do what's best for you.
Yeah. And, AD, here's a reality is over the last 2 years, the market has been so hot that any new construction in San Diego County has had a list a mile long of people interested in buying these new construction houses. So what they did was a lot of these builders pushed out the real estate agents and said, you know what, Mr. Buyer, we have a list of X amount of people, 100 people, 1,000 people that want these 16 new properties that are going to be released next month. So we really don't want you to work with that real estate agent. We don't want you to be represented. You're going to go directly through us. So we've been in a situation, Bern and I, where we've kind of been pushed out of the knowledge loop of new construction because they've had so much demand. Now, what we for sure are starting to see, I'm starting to get the emails from builders of, hey, we have units still available. The next phase, we have 3 new units available. I'm getting more and more and more of these emails. So that tells me that the demand is for sure falling. They're following up with all these people on their wait list and they're saying, oh, you know what? We're not interested anymore. We don't qualify anymore. We already bought another house elsewhere. And so I think there's no doubt that the demand is way down. I don't think we've seen a reduction in home prices yet for new construction, but I think that they're going to have to start being more competitive, allowing people to use their real estate agents and allow us to be back in the loop so that we can assist people through the process. And I would not be surprised if you started to see reduction in home prices, especially for the new construction that's like way out there. The stuff down in Chula Vista, stuff out in Valley Center, like all that stuff is going to be.
If they're being built right now, you probably can't lock in your rate in for like 90 days. I think there are some programs that you can keep in longer lock rates, but if you don't know what the interest rates are going to be 6 months from now, like right now, the rates are like, I don't know, 4%, 4.5% for 30-year fixed, something like that.
Yeah.
So could it be 6%, 6 months from now? So that's going to be the problem with new construction right now. And I do think you'll probably see a price reduction soon, or they're going to stop raising the prices on them at least.
Stop allowing people to bid on them and like all these other nasty things they've been doing.
Yeah, they've been, people that are taking advantage, man. Those home builders were definitely doubling down during this pandemic. Yeah. So good for you, home builders.
And I hate to lump them all together. Trust me, there are some that are horrendous that I've learned over the last 2 years are absolutely horrendous. It's all about the profit. The service is terrible. The quality of building materials they use is terrible. All that stuff. I would highly recommend to not work with these builders. But there are also some really good ones out there as well that have worked with agents, at least on some level, continue that level of respect because they know that the market at some point is going to change, and they have good quality service for the buyers. matters. So
Well,
I don't want to
which
just.
home builder don't you like, Dan? You want to tell us?
I don't, but I can tell you the last time I was on someone else's YouTube live and said that, I got like 5 messages the next day from people just wondering. So if you are interested, shoot me a message. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to
I'll give
publicly
you my 2
blast
cents on
them.
the home builders around here as well, too. So
See, the problem is, the builders, they don't like Bern and I. They don't want us to use images or video footage of their complexes. They would be the first ones to reach out and say, take that video down because you said something against us or because you showed a video of one of our buildings from the outside. So I'm not going to say anything on here because I don't want this video to get taken down for Bern. I don't want them to harass me. But if you are interested, let me know, or I'll tell Bern after this YouTube live. He already knows who I'm going to say, but I'll let him know, and you can reach out to him as well.
That sounds good. Sounds great. Okay, let's get a couple more questions because been here a while. My wife and I are moving to San Diego from New York and could use your help. Either one of us are happy to help, so feel free to reach out to either of us. Just kind of go with the better looking person. And just kidding.
Hopefully your camera doesn't go out again, because then I'll definitely be the better looking.
The lighting is not great. I'll tell you right now with this camera. So they'll probably call you Dan. That's awesome about the Poway update. Zach and I still have to wait till next year at this time. It's good to see. Very cool. There is a new construction in Poway. Actually, I wanted to go check out the farms. Have you checked that one out yet, Dan?
That's Lennar, right?
It is Lennar.
Yeah, I have not checked that out.
No comment is what you're gonna say. Okay.
Yeah, no comment.
Jay, you will love it here. There you go. 9 Angels. If 9 Angels says it, it must be true. So I put in an ADU to live in while I'm having remodel done. Very cool. I'm curious, what did the ADU cost you, if you don't mind me asking?
That's exactly what I wanted to know too.
I get that question like every day of the year. How much is that ADU going to cost for me to build?
So what? I just got that question, I think, last week. What would you tell someone? Actually, I just got it 2 days ago. What would you tell someone if they said, "Hey, this house has a big backyard. It's flat. It's prime. It's ready for an ADU, as in it's flat and they can get utilities there." What would you tell them as far as price?
I've heard from other people that have built them. It could be anywhere from like 150 to like 250 to build an ADU. It depends on the size and how easy it is to get to and all that sort of thing. But if it's like I don't know, a 400 square foot ADU, it's probably like around 200,000, give or take, something like that.
Yeah, that's about what I say as well. I think most people, if you're looking to build an ADU from the ground up, you're probably going to be starting at about 200 to 250. It could go up from there, but once you add in like all the extra features and all the extra things that you want it to be livable. You want a little bit more square footage. It's very easy for that to go up, but
it's
you
like
can get it done for cheaper. But
you can build a pool for $60,000, but do you want to have water in it? Then it costs more.
Yeah, and if you talk to a pool builder or a pool contractor, and you tell them that you got a quote for $40,000, they will tell you to run, because the way that they build those pools are going to fail after a couple of years. So the money you save in the beginning is really going to screw you in the long run. So you really want to make sure that you get something that is done well.
That's probably one of the biggest things I've learned about working in real estate for 10 years. You definitely get what you pay for. Back in my younger days, I used to try to find the cheapest person to do something, and then you definitely pay for it in the long run if you do that. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping for contractors or whatever it is. So
it's like the guy who put together your camera. I mean, he just can't be trusted.
I don't know what happened to this camera. About this. Okay, a couple more. We'll wrap this up here. Nina, does San Diego require any specific spacing for an ADU? They do require it. They've become much more lenient on ADUs here in San Diego, but you still have to have setback rules on how big the yard is.
That's a big one.
On the San Diego city website, they have all these rules. They actually have predetermined ADUs that you can use their plans and build an ADU that way too. So we should do an episode on just ADUs, I feel like. So.
It'd be nice to bring someone in. The other thing is, just keep in mind, City of San Diego versus all the other cities in San Diego County, it's going to be different. It just depends. Carlsbad,
as far as permits go, I'm just going to bring up one thing about permits in San Diego City, which is where I am. I've been waiting 6 months for a gas line permit just to get a gas line to my backyard. 6 months. Yeah. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to build an ADU, because it'll drive you absolutely insane. In San Diego City, that is. Okay. Can I afford to live on $250K salary and still have save for a home in San Diego? I'd say yes.
Yeah.
especially with the market changing a little bit here. I mean, might not be living on the beach in Del Mar, but you can live in a very good neighborhood for $250K, I would say.
It really depends on your lifestyle. I know people that can move here off of $100,000 a year or less. Like you can make it work and you can save money. It just depends on your lifestyle. But yeah, absolutely.
Very good answer, Dan. Good answer. Okay, we also have property in Minnesota. We'll be got it. Because when he said Canada, MN, he was talking about Minnesota.
Oh, gotcha.
There you go. Okay, easily, Kevin, you would have no problems. Okay. Hi from Carmel Valley. Oh, right in my backyard.
Hello, Lolo.
Nice to meet you. I will never leave San Diego. Being near the ocean is everything. There you go.
I agree.
Okay. Hi, Lolo. I spent a decade in Carmel, Monterey, working in the 90s. Love it there, too. Very cool.
A lot of activity today. Love it.
Yeah, a lot of people out here today. Okay, hi, Angela. Here it's beautiful in that area. I'm in North San Diego County, right near where I live. Okay. Oh, different Carmel Valley. Yes, different Carmel. That's Carmel by the sea versus Carmel Valley. Malibu, that's out of budget. Okay. You guys are basically just having conversations with each other, so that's cool.
Now everyone is hearing your personal conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So Linda Lee, hi guys, love it. Thank you guys. Okay, any other questions we can get to? Yes, how we were saying. Okay. You guys can go offline and have your conversations too. Enjoy this. We're just trying to bring people together. This is great. Here we go. One more. Moving my entire family to Del Mar next week from New York City.
Nice.
Took a lot of pointers from your channel, going to rent for a year and see how it goes. Awesome. Where are you? So you're going to be, to Del Mar. Very good spot. Well, can you invite us over? We'd love to spend some time.
I'd love to meet your dog. It's a very, very dog-friendly.
There's a dog beach right there in Del Mar, too.
Yeah, fantastic.
Check out Monarch. That's got some great ocean view over there in Del Mar. Love that spot. Okay, to clarify, question is for a single family home. Oh, did she ask a question? Oh, I'm sorry. I missed your question. Here it is. What is your opinion on buying in La Jolla versus Carmel Valley in terms of resale value or future appreciation? Honestly, I think they're both very similar in home appreciation.
Yeah.
Carmel Valley and La Jolla are probably two of the most popular spots in all of San Diego. Would you agree, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, either one of those is just going to keep going sky high.
I don't think you're going to go wrong with either one as far as appreciation. They'll probably go up about the same, honestly. Maybe give or take 1 or 2%. One thing about La Jolla, I will say, this is just my personal opinion, is
here it comes.
I say this all the time. When you're in La Jolla, you kind of get stuck in La Jolla a little bit because it takes you a few minutes. Like it could take you 15 minutes to get to the freeway. And even getting into La Jolla, there's only like 2 ways that are easily accessible from other parts of San Diego. Carmel Valley, it's like easy to get in and out of. You can be at the beach in 5-10 minutes at Torrey Pines Beach. But I'd say La Jolla, if you want something more like a walkable area, or if you're in La Jolla in the village, that's a great spot. But if you're going to be in La Jolla and you're going to drive to things, then I don't know. It's more of my personal opinion. I don't know what your thoughts are on La Jolla.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. If you work a regular 9 to 5 and you have to commute outside of La Jolla, I would not want that lifestyle. I mean, that would just wear me down. And that's coming from someone who spends a lot of time in the car.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I love La Jolla, but I think especially, I'm not sure if you have like a family or kids or something, like Carmel Valley is like Kidville, USA.
Yes.
So great schools. You're super close to, it's very central. You could probably be at the airport almost quicker from Carmel Valley than you could La Jolla because it takes a while to get out of it. So that's just my 2 cents. Both great places to live, though. So
yeah, if you really want the walkability for yourself, go to La Jolla. And if you just want the flexibility to go wherever you want in San Diego and have your commute be easier, then go to Carmel Valley. But both, they're going to be even as far as resale and appreciation. If you ask Bern and myself,
for sure. Yep. Okay, we're gonna do. Okay, rapid fire questions. Let's go.
Boom.
San Diego isn't walkable, but it's small. Things are close enough that only really walkable cities are New York City, Chicago, and some of San Francisco. Yes, but there are, I feel like, and Andrew, good to see you, buddy. There are neighborhoods in San Diego that are walkable, but the overall city, not really. I mean, downtown, Little Italy, East Village, the beach communities are walkable, but you're going to need a car pretty much anywhere you live in San Diego.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Can you smoke in a townhouse? If it's yours, yes.
If you own it, you could do it Well,
Yeah.
I guess you can't do whatever you want because of the
Separate
HOA, but they
properties,
can't
separate.
restrict that.
I don't think there's anyone preventing you from doing it that I
Yep.
know of. Dan, anything? No? Okay.
Andy, what are you smoking, bro?
Baines back again. That makes sense. Yeah, you're probably more interested in nightlife than walkability, but there's going to live in Pacific Beach Point. Okay. Let me look for some more questions. Isn't East Village where the help for homeless is most prevalent? Yeah, I would say East Village is. That would be the spot.
For sure.
Hi from Rancho Benasquitas, coin holder. Why don't you come say hi? We're neighbors. Okay, LA.
There he is.
500 years. Gotta love it. Is that true? Oh, I didn't realize it was a Spaniard. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure lifeguards do not make $500,000 yearly, but
I also love that little surf emoji. That's fun.
Yeah, where'd you get that surf emoji? I don't have that one. But good to see you, Spaniard. Kelvin will be very excited. Oh, there's Spaniard right there. Kelvin makes an appearance. So he's a regular on the show. For those of you guys who don't know, the Spaniard is a premium guest here. Which home builder do you like?
I'll answer this question. I won't answer the other one.
I liked Tri-Point, which is right over here in Pacific Island Ranch. They've been very easy to work with. I've done with them. But yeah, there are some other ones I'm not.
They have some great like luxury homes and beautiful homes.
Yeah.
Shea, I've also had great experiences with.
Yeah, Shea's been good. But yes, there's some other ones we're not as fond of. Okay, when does March 56 project complete? Is Apple coming to March 56 office space? Rumors still true. Someone over the weekend told me that they said Apple was coming to March 56. I don't know if that's true at all. You did not hear it from me. I do not know if that's official or not. They said they're going to Rancho Bernardo, but they're supposedly need more office space than what they have in Rancho Bernardo. So could they be? Possibly, but I don't know that for a fact. And the project is supposed to be complete in 2023, although they have not even started building the office space or the shopping center. I'm guessing it's probably more like 2024, but we'll see. What San Diego area or North County city near the beach is safe and quiet for a retired couple? We're not really allowed to say what is safe per se, but which one? Dan lives in Encinitas. And Dan, do you enjoy living in Encinitas with your wife?
Yeah, and I would say, to just kind of generalize, anywhere from Carlsbad down to La Jolla, you're going to have a lot of success in. I mean, just all really nice beach communities that aren't, it's not Pacific Beach where you have a lot of like younger college kids running around getting crazy. Yeah. Anywhere in between those areas are great.
I would feel comfortable walking around there as a retired couple.
Yep, absolutely.
Any of those neighborhoods. Okay, 250G for an ADU, crazy. Spaniard, everything is expensive these days. Why do you think that's a lot, Spaniard?
Come on, a lifeguard can buy 2 of those a year. It's no big deal.
And then we should have probably started with this question. What is an ADU?
Yes.
ADU is basically a guest house in the back of your house, an additional
granny flat.
So granny flat, ADU, guest house. Sorry, we should have started with that.
We get stuck on a realtor talk sometimes and we forget.
Additional dummy unit.
That's good.
Dan, how are you
liking
your Truth, please?
It's great. Encinitas is a fantastic place that we never want to leave.
It is wonderful. I just went out to dinner there last weekend, and it was delightful.
Yeah.
Just joined the chat. Quick question: does you guys expect home prices to drop anytime soon? We kind of talked about this already.
Yeah, we didn't say too much about moving forward, so I guess we can hit that.
I would say, would I be shocked if the median home price is lower at the end of this year than it is right now? I would not be shocked. Like, I think we're in San Diego County, the single family homes is like $998 or right around $1 million median home price. Would I be shocked?
It hit $1 million.
It did. So okay, so we're at $1 million now. Would I be shocked if the median home price is $950 at the end of the year or $975? I would not be terribly shocked. Would you?
I wouldn't. No, I think that's a fair assessment.
But it could go up too. This is just my guess. So
if I were going to bet money, it would be that we're going to be at the same median price home at the end of the year that we are right now. So I think that we could see a little bit of a spike either way, like whether it goes up a little bit or whether it goes down a little bit, but then it'll just kind of even out for the rest of the year. That's my expectation.
Okay. A couple more questions and I'm wrapping this up for real this time. Almost purchased a condo by the water. No go. Only one parking spot. No other parking. Forget company. Spaniard, I don't know.
How many homes have you almost bought? That's what I want to know.
This is kind of this conversation. Do you live by yourself, Spaniard? Do you need an extra parking spot? I'm just curious. I feel like
we appreciate you, the Spaniard. I hope you don't mind.
Spaniard after this in La Jolla.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, parking is challenging in La Jolla, so I get why you wouldn't want 2 parking spots, but it kind of depends on your situation. I do find that the resale on one parking spot condos tends to be a little bit less. So if you were getting it for less, then you'll resell it for probably less than one that has 2 parking spots. But
yeah,
Dan, you went big time Encinitas for the schools, right?
So we only have 2 dogs right now, so it's not for the schools, just for the lifestyle.
It's for the dog schools.
Living our best life, the Spaniard.
That's right. Okay, last one. Will Camino del Sur connection to Park Village open before completion of March 56th? Yes. I'm told that will open in July. It's when the road should open. So you'll be able to get to Park Village. I can drop my kids off at school. But the center will probably be end of 2023, early 2024, because for some reason they still have not started building it. I'm guessing they're probably just waiting for someone to sign on to something or agree to something before they put in the full plans to build it. But that's just a hypothetical guess. I talked to the developer. He's been very tight-lipped about it. I'm not happy about it. So,
Bern, you didn't answer the second question. Does this?
Does this? Oh, is there another part?
No, I was just kidding.
Does the Camino del Sur connection to Park Village complete? Oh, there it is. Is that the same question? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. I will need a home after summer. 6-car garage, 4 acres, pool, 5-bedroom. Sign me up, Spaniard. Let's do this.
That sounds nice. Ramona, I think.
Oh, what price point? Thanks, guys, for your time. Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great dialogue, Jen. We'll do this. We're trying to do this every 2 weeks. Occasionally, we'll be on Dan's channel, sometimes on my channel. So just follow us both. And if you guys ever have questions about moving to San Diego, we'd love to talk about it with you. Thanks for watching, and catch us next time.
Thanks, Bern. See you, everybody.
Yeah.